Well, welcome back to Exhaust Sports Auto. My name is Kevin, and you join me inside my disgusting garage, but that's okay. I just cleaned the car, so kind of makes up for it. But anyway, I'm making this video because, well, obviously, the fan base on this channel revolves a lot around Lexus. I don't know really how that happened, but it just kind of did, and that's fine. It's a very underrepresented vehicle in today's media, car reviews, whatever you want to call it. I'm glad I could deliver videos that are more accurate to what the vehicles are more about. So I'm glad I could do that. But am I particularly a fan of the brand? I mean, I just don't care. Whoever makes the best products, that's who I like, you know, so there's that. But I recently ran a poll on my channel in the little community tab thing where I asked like, oh, what do you value most in a vehicle or something? And it was like driving feel, 0 to 60, comfort, reliability, something like that. And most people, like the three biggest ones were reliability, driving feel. Oh, that's right, showing off. That was the other category, but that wasn't like a highly picked one. But the other one was comfort. So a lot of people then commented on that poll saying that, well, that's why we drive a Lexus, because it kind of hits all the things that you just mentioned. And that got me thinking, is like Lexus and Toyota, is it like the best cars ever made or whatever? Because many of you seem to have that notion or that ideology that they are like the best vehicles ever made. And most of you guys watch like the Scotty videos. So, you know, what I always hear people saying is it's great because of the reliability. And it's obvious that the vehicle I'm sitting in right now is the LC500. And honestly, dude, reliability was the last thing on my mind when I chose to lease this vehicle, okay? The reason why this thing sits in my garage now is because I want to hoon it around intersections, well, when there's nobody around, and I want to bang off that rev limiter of that V8, and I wanted this interior. So this company, Lexus, just so happened to be the company that produced this vehicle. If Mitsubishi made this car, if Honda made this car, I really don't care. Whoever made it, I would have bent down to that dealership and signed the paperwork. But Lexus happened to be the one that made this very bespoke, weird little LC500 luxury coupe thing. So there you have it. I enjoy driving this car more than a lot of other six-figure cars. Basically all the little German Euro rivals that this thing has. I enjoy this far more than those other vehicles. I've driven them all the cars that you like to jack off to, I've driven them all. It's on the channel. You can search through, watch all the videos. There you go. But do I think Lexus is like the end-all be-all, or is Toyota the end-all be-all? Absolutely not. You know, I find great pleasure in driving a lot of different vehicles, you know, even from GM all the way to like, you know, Audi to Mercedes-Benz to Jaguar, Land Rover. I enjoyed a lot of other vehicles. And I hope that more people on this channel or anybody else who just randomly stumble upon this does go out and does try out those vehicles, lease those vehicles, rent those vehicles, whatever you have to do. I hope you get to enjoy those cars, because a lot of these other manufacturers have a lot to offer, whether it's their driving dynamics, their motor, their refinement. There's a lot of other things to be had aside from just owning a Lexus product. But I will say Lexus is the best company to kind of fall back on. Objectively though, I would pick a Lexus product or even a Toyota product over a lot of the Euro cars. I'm not some Euro fanboy. I'm not some Japanese car fanboy. Although I will say Asian vehicles have consistently delivered to me the driving experience that I want out on the street. Like for instance, if I took this LC out on the track, I'm sure it'd be a total bummer. It'd be a total letdown, honestly. I'm sure all the dynamics and all the spec sheet nonsense would come into effect out on a track. But out here, you know, down, you know, on the way down to Nordstrom's, what else? Starbucks, Arby's, Applebee's, any other B's. This is honestly, the Lexus cars are actually one of my most favorite, especially the IS, RC, and the GS 350 F Sport variants. They're pretty damn epic. So those are really some killer daily drivers that I would probably easily take over, like, I don't know, dude, like 90-95% of the Euro competition. I'm not even joking about that. So like, why is that? I mean, I've noticed in a lot of the Asian cars, including the Genesis and the other Korean products, there's a lot more kind of soul attached to the driving experience, I've noticed, and it's the least compromised driving experience out on the road. They ride well, they are plenty quick. Like the V6 offerings from Lexus, hella quick for sure. Even the new Acura products, I love those as well. Genesis is absolutely crushing it, and all these cars, they have a great demeanor. Like they have a nice quality feel, and they offer you enough dynamics. And honestly, I even did a comparison between a GS 350 and like a base Porsche Panamera. Honestly, I think I actually preferred driving the Lexus more than the Porsche, because not only did it have very similar driving dynamics to that Porsche, but actually it rode a little bit better. So there you go. But it's just like the media paints these Euro cars out to be like they're handmade by Jesus Christ or something like that, when that's totally not the case. There's only like, you know, especially with BMW, I prefer like the non-M cars, you know, but the M cars are what gets jerked off the most apparently. So there's that. But you know, some of those Euro cars, like the M cars I mentioned, they ride like utter trash, dude. Like after a ride in an M car, dude, I don't even have a spinal cord anymore. That's not the case with a lot of these Japanese cars. They have the dynamics like this Lexus, but it also rides phenomenally well. And it's that quality that makes it satisfying, both driving at 35 miles an hour and at like 135 miles an hour. It's just really great. And another thing, I'll give Lexus people this community. I mean, yeah, they can be a little obnoxious from time to time, you know, always with their, you know, Scotty Kilmer, you know, quotations and whatnot. But I'll give them this. They really do shut the fuck up, and they do put their money where their mouth is for sure. They're actually invested in these vehicles. They go out and they buy several Toyota products. They go out and buy several Lexus products. They have them out of their driveway, their garages, and I really respect that. Unlike some of these are fanboys and fangirls that just look at pictures of these Euro cars, or they compare like 0.1 of a second of these cars and they just complain amongst each other on a forum. Not so with a lot of these Lexus people. They've either actually owned those Euro cars, they already know what the hype is about with those cars, and they realize it's not there, and then they shift over to Lexus and they're like, damn, like this thing provides everything I ever wanted in a vehicle, right? Especially out on the street. And a lot of those F Sport variants, they're a ton of fun to actually hoon around and drive around in the city in everyday driving. But of course, the biggest reason why, you know, everybody keeps mentioning this, it's the reliability. And Scotty Kilmer fans, you know, they always rant and rave about this, and this is true. You know, their drivetrains are proven. Transmission, engines, for the most part. You know, here's the thing though, especially with the Lexus, the parts cost a fortune on these vehicles. That's what people need to understand. Yeah, the engine and transmission are great, but there are other parts associated with the car, you know, suspensions. And now, you know, all these cars have the same level of electronics, like all the parking sensors, the safety sensors, cameras, all this stuff, electronics. You know, when this stuff goes wrong, I mean, it's the same with any other Euro car or Japanese car. They all cost a fortune to replace. So, you know, if you're so fixated on reliability, and everybody keeps asking me, should I buy this at this many miles, or should I buy that, or, you know, is this a good car to buy? Will this last me like 35 years? I'm just like, here's what you should do, okay? I'm not a betting man, but if I were to bet money, I would bet money on a Toyota product to last longer than its rivals. I would suggest that you go out and you get like 3 or 4 Camrys that are like 10 years old, pay like $7,000 each, and pay cash for all 4 of them and just keep them. And then go out and lease something else, a Euro car, a Ferrari, a Lexus, whatever. That's what I really recommend people to do. Have that reliable daily, but then go out and finance or lease or rent whatever car else that you want, because that's the only way you can sleep well at night. And definitely make sure to have warranties on all these cars, including a Lexus, because like I mentioned, parts do cost a lot of money. Yeah, but yeah, does it last? Of course. Is it going to leave you stranded on the road? I don't think so, although anything could happen. I do know of a person who bought a brand new Corolla of the time, probably like 10 years ago, and the transmission blew out on him. So anything can go. Cars are one of the most complex things that human beings are ever going to buy, and probably one of the most expensive things that they're going to buy outside of their home. So they have a lot of net worth invested into these vehicles. So make sure, just cover it with a goddamn warranty, and just know what you're getting into. You know, it's a luxury product, especially the Lexus cars, and just know that it comes with a luxury price tag. Like the trunk lid on this LC500 is like 10 grand. The doors each are like 10 grand. That right there is already 30 grand, which is already just like a fabulous certified pre-owned Lexus GS 350 F Sport. So yeah, parts are ridiculous, but are these the best cars on the road? Honestly, all things considered, I don't blame you if you think they are, because they do offer everything you need in a nice, neat little package, and they are pretty damn reliable for the most part. So yeah, they drive great, they ride great, they look great, it gets you respect, it has some prestige. I like it. A lot of people don't like the tech in here, the infotainment, all that nonsense. I just don't use it. That's how I get around it. I just don't care in any of these cars about infotainment. Are they perfect? Nothing in this world is perfect. Nothing made by man is ever going to be perfect, but is it pretty close? Is it damn good? Of course it is. So if you can't really afford to have multiple cars and you're done screwing around, you're done leasing all these Euro cars, you know what they're about, you know what the hype is about, Lexus is a great place to come and settle down with. So that's what I recommend. But yeah, I mean, amongst all the cars, I do think these are one of the more reliable ones, but I like them for their driving demeanor out on the road. That's what I appreciate, as well as their ride comfort. So you leave your thoughts down below in the comment section, what you think about the brands. I mean, obviously many of you people are fans of the company, and you should be, and I do believe they've been very misrepresented, as well as the Korean cars, the Genesis vehicles. They always get roasted. So you know, I'm glad I could do a more proper job in trying to explain to you what these vehicles are more so about by explaining to you the nuances of driving these cars. You can check out the little playlists and stuff that I made on the channel if you want to see more reviews specifically about some of these cars. But thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye.